All right, cool guys. Thanks so much for joining today. And I know it's a real busy day. You guys have a lot going on. So I want to take some time just to talk about some of the features on the new Trailblazer, because there's really quite a bit going on with this vehicle. First of all, it's not just another Trax. I hear this a lot from sales consultants and customers, like, oh, when are we getting rid of the Trax, right? Well, truth be told, this was actually supposed to take the place of the Trax. And let me give you guys 3 cars here, okay? So you've got an Equinox, Traverse, and a Trax. Last year, okay, 2019 calendar year, what do you think, which vehicle of those 3 do you think had the highest percentage in growth of sales last year of those 3 vehicles? Equinox, you said Trax, somewhere around there, okay? So let me give you guys a quick little number game here. The Traverse had a 0.4% bump in sales last year. The Equinox had a 4.5% bump in overall sales last year, which when you're talking, you know, hundreds of cars on a 0.5%, 4.5%, now we're talking thousands of cars, thousands of units, right? The Trax, drum roll please, had a 29.9% bump in sales last year. My man, got that one right there. So almost 30% growth in sales came from that Trax. That's huge. So I tell you this, the Trax is going nowhere. Okay, when was the last time any of you sold a Malibu? One. You guys are a bigger store here, so it's a little different. You guys are a bigger store here, right? Okay, so there, but either way, it was still a sale, right? So here's my point. This is the market. That small crossover SUV, that is the market now, right? We don't have a Cruze anymore. We don't have a Volt. We don't have a lot of these sedans that we're used to selling. There's almost 30 competitors in this segment. So think about it. Can you name me 3 of the competitors in this segment? Give me 1 competitor.
Renegade.
Renegade would be the first one, probably the closest to us, right?
Sport.
Probably right around there, yep. The 3 main competitors in this segment, Jeep Renegade, Honda HR-V, Toyota CHR. So those are the 3 main competitors in this segment, but really when it comes down to it, our biggest competitor is probably right next door at the Buick GMC store, right? The Buick Encore GX is the sister or the brother, whatever you want to call it, to the Trailblazer. So within the GM family, we still have a lot of competition. So let's talk about some of these things that kind of separate this vehicle from being just another Trax or just another SUV crossover. I've got 2 engines on this vehicle, okay? We all know that. I've got 2 of them. What are they?
1.2 and 1.3.
1.2, 1.3, okay, right on there. 1.2, 1.3. 3-cylinder engines, okay, 1.2, 1.3, that's important. Both of them say turbo on the engine cover. So how could I tell if this is a 1.2 or 1.3 without looking at the sticker?
Trim.
Without looking at any stickers. If I'm looking right under the hood right now like we are, how can I tell this is a 1.2 or a 1.3? Can you tell me?
Absolutely not.
Because we're looking at about 20 horsepower difference, but we're also looking at a couple things different we'll talk about in a second. Let me give you guys a quick hint. Press onto this engine cover. Can you press that real quick for me? What does it feel like? Like a real dense foam. That's how you know you have a 1.2. It's a real dense foam. That 1.3 is gonna have a hard plastic cover on the top of it, okay? And again, the difference there is not much. However, the difference in the capability becomes a little greater when we start talking about transmissions. So your 1.2, which is what we have here, comes standard with what's called a CVT transmission. Do we all know what a CVT is?
Continuously variable transmission.
And what does that do?
It's a series of belts and pulleys like a snowmobile.
Okay, exactly. Anyone here ridden a snowmobile? Obviously you have, right? You're saying that, that's right on. So there's no gear shifting, it's all just a big wind. It's like, so here's where ours is a little different. We don't use belts, we use chains in ours. So ours is actually chain driven CVT. And there's actually timing built into this to simulate a shift sequence. So it's not just like a snowmobile or a jet ski where it just winds up and gets to speed and maxes out. What we actually do is simulate shifting in there so the customer doesn't even realize that there's a CVT transmission in here. They actually simulate shifting, great for fuel economy, things like that, right? Now, when that's on our front wheel drive 1.2 and our front wheel drive 1.3, do we have an all-wheel drive model we can have? Correct? Okay, now when we go to the all-wheel drive model, you actually get rid of the CVT and you get a 9-speed transmission. Same 9-speed transmission that's in your 2-liter Equinox, same 9-speed that's in your Blazer Traverse, okay? And that's where we get our max towing capability on this thing. Yes, this thing does tow. Does anyone know how much this thing tows?
1,000 pounds.
Dude, you're right. Would you just take this test or something online? You're just right on. I like it. I like it. 1,000 pounds is max towing. We're going to talk about that in a little bit when we head to the back. 1,000 pounds is my max towing on this thing. Here's another thing I want you guys to keep in mind. Do you guys ever, you know what dinghy tow is or flat towing is? Okay, where we have all 4 wheels on the ground behind a motorhome and we're able to pull this. Okay, a lot of our trucks and even our SUVs, if we have a 2-speed transfer case, we're able to put all 4 wheels on the ground and pull it, right? If you have a front wheel drive, you cannot dinghy tow this thing because you have a CVT transmission. If you have an all-wheel drive model, you're able to dinghy tow it because you have that 9-speed transmission in there. So it is flat towable as well. I say flat tow, dinghy tow, it's the same thing, right? Commonly referred to as flat towing.